Cowboy Football is taking a road trip to the Hub City.
Well, basketball season is coming up with some new faces on the court.
All of this and more coming up on the Poke Report. Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of the Poke Report, where we talk everything OSU sports. I'm Peyton Schmidt alongside Zach Berger. Zach, how are you feeling about going up against a powerhouse like Texas Tech this weekend?
Not very good. Not very good. Listen, every week's a new opportunity for the Cowboys. You still got to play a full game, but I don't like it too much. But as you said, Oklahoma State heading to Lubbock, Texas to take on Texas Tech. Our very own Matthew breaks down this matchup.
This Saturday, the Oklahoma State Cowboys head into opposing territory to face the Texas Tech Red Raiders with kickoff at 3 p.m. Last week, the Cowboys fell 49-17 to the Cincinnati Bearcats in America's greatest homecoming in Stillwater, bringing their record to 1-6 overall and 0-4 in Big 12 play. Now the Pokes face an uphill battle coming off that devastating loss, as they are set to travel to Lubbock to face the number 14 ranked team in the FBS and the second ranked team in the Big 12. On OSU's side, adversity has been prevalent in 2025. Starting quarterback Hoss Haney went down within the season opener with a broken foot, leaving the Pokes winless since that game against UT Martin. Jackson and the OSU offense demonstrated positive upside to their run game in their loss to Cincinnati. OSU has been turning to Sam Jackson V for answers under center. After losing backup quarterback Zane Flores in their matchup against Arizona, running back Rodney Fields Jr. rushed for a career-high 163 yards while adding a trip to the end zone.
Rodney can get small through tight spaces. He's got enough body twitch. It can kind of he's shifty, he can stop and start, and he's compact. And he's got just enough. His short speed's really good. You know what I mean? Like his short speed's really good. Within a 5-yard box, he's really twitchy and quick, and he's got some power to him, and he's low center of gravity. So he's gonna have a bright future.
Sam Jackson V also added a goal line rushing touchdown, while the Pokes combined for 228 rushing yards, their highest of the season. But this weekend, Oklahoma State's biggest test will be whether or not their run-style offense can hold up against the best rush defense in the FBS. Texas Tech has built their defensive identity based on stopping the run, ranking at the top of the nation in rushing yards allowed per game this season. The Red Raiders' front seven is led by veteran linebacker David Bailey, who has recorded 22 tackles and 10.5 sacks, while establishing positive momentum and energy on the field and in the locker room.
Obviously there's always room for improvement. We're hosting pass rush meetings constantly with the D-line and the edges, just try to take our pass rush game to the next level. Coach Ayu's always reiterating, trying to rush as one, and that if we all do our job, success will come across the D-line. So I think that's kind of the main thing for us.
Cowboys can bring their strong run game early in this week's matchup. They will be able to keep Texas Tech's explosive offense on the sideline. However, if the Red Raiders' strong front seven shuts down players like Sam Jackson V and Rodney Fields Jr. at the line, it could force Oklahoma State to rely more on the passing game, something they've struggled to do consistently this season. Ultimately, the matchup in the trenches will have a strong tell on how this game turns out. Tune in at 3 p.m. tomorrow to see whether or not OSU can bring a large upset to the Big 12 Conference. I'm Matthew Lariou with the Poke Report.
Thanks for that, Matthew. We'll see how the Pokes hold up against the Red Raiders.
Now, Zach, the Cowboys have lost 2 consecutive homecoming games, and it was quite a stinker against Cincinnati. We'll send it down to Caroline Cook, who has more on that matchup.
I'm at Boone Pickens Stadium, where Cincinnati disappointed Oklahoma State at home during homecoming weekend. Cincinnati pulled away with a 49-17 lead over the Cowboys last Saturday. What happened here? Will Oklahoma State be able to regain their footing for the season? Why are there so many shirtless fans and bananas in the crowd? All of these will be answered in this week's weekly recap. Cincinnati wasted no time setting the tone in Stillwater on their first real drive of the night. Brendan Sorsby says, "Oh, I'm all over it," throwing it to Cyrus Allen, who runs the quick inside route for the touchdown. The Bearcats didn't stop there at the second quarter. Sorsby babysitting the ball, pitches it to Allen, and all the way to the end zone for a clean touchdown. The offense seems unstoppable now. Moments later, Sorsby aired it out again, this time finding Cyrus Allen down the sideline. Touchdown Bearcats 27-10. But the Oklahoma State fans seem to be having their own fun in the stands. Fans dressed in banana costumes as well as the shirtless stunt known as the Tarps Off movement kept the fans invested and hyped up through the game. I would say morale has never been better in a college football fan base before. Unlike their crowd, Oklahoma State finally showed some signs of life just before halftime. Sam Jackson for a throw steps up in the pocket and runs it into the end zone with some great play reading ability shown, setting up the Cowboys for their first touchdown of the game. Then early in the third, Rodney Fields with a 20-yard rushing touchdown run that pulled the Pokes within 11, 28-17. But sadly for the Cowboys, they just could not keep the party going as Cincinnati's defense took control in the fourth quarter. That knockout came from the 100-yard interception returned by Matthew McDoom. The pick six had the crowd filing out pretty quick to the strip. McDoom, it really was the doom of the game. Final score, Cincinnati 49, Oklahoma State 17, a rough homecoming night here in Stillwater. Although we may not know what will happen for Oklahoma State for the remainder of this season, the fans are still loving this team and the environment at Boone Pickens Stadium. And sometimes that's all you need to make a memorable season. For the Poke Report, I'm Caroline Cook.
Thanks for that, Caroline. Looks like a lot happened during that game, not just on the field, but in the stands as well.
Absolutely, a lot did. And it necessarily wasn't all on the field. Our very own Cole shows us how the famous student section stole the show once again.
Normally, when you're at a football game, you either want to be as close to the action as possible or up in the suites, but not at Oklahoma State. The legend of Section 231 made an encore performance last week that was one to remember.
You know, I know we talked about our fans at length, and they deserve it. And I don't know what the banana thing was, but that was pretty cool. And obviously the shirtless section was rolling, so that was fun. Just the crowd in general.
Meacham is referring to a surprise appearance from a group of bananas in the student section at the homecoming game. They call themselves Pete's Peelers.
Normally, fans wear the color of their team to support, or in the case of Section 231, take their shirts off and wave them. But Pete's Peelers decided a banana costume was a fitting way to show their support of the Pokes. Whether it's shirtless fans, fans in banana costumes, or whatever new trend that happens at the next home game, the Cowboys will continue to support their football team from the stands. From the Poke Report, I'm Cole Geldenzoff.
Thanks for that, Cole. Hey, and to be honest, I don't think they're going anywhere quite yet. In fact, we might have a new tradition on our hands.
I think so too. And you've got the other FBS schools partaking. You've got Wisconsin and UCLA to name a couple, and scary one. I mean, you've got a bunch of shirtless men and teenagers and bananas. Yeah. Haven't seen bananas at any other school, so that'll be interesting because I feel like there's going to be more bananas happening at other schools. But if it brings a good fan base in when your team's not doing so hot, I'll take it.
Very true.
But that was our homecoming game, and we can't just skip over the homecoming aspect. So we're going to send it down to Kendall May, who has more on our pumping situation at Oklahoma State.
8 tonight, Cowboys wait for all year. All-night pomp. Thousands of students line up along Greek Row to see the house decks they've been building for weeks finally come to life.
It's unimaginable. Like, you just have to be out here to see what it's like with vendors coming around giving us Red Bulls and energy drinks to keep us awake, to just the energy being so high.
But before these massive displays light up the street, the real work happens inside the pumping rooms, packed with tissue paper, glue, and non-stop energy.
What am I looking at in here?
In here, you're looking at the setup. This is where we're rolling out and stitching all of our pump. Really just keeps it organized and open space for us to work and keeping everything looking nice.
Students use lifts while others glue the final designs together. It's a behind-the-scenes operation that feels more like a factory than a frat house.
In this past 4 or 5 weeks, it's been hours from everyone in the house, left, right, front, and center. This room has been non-stop active. Everyone's been working all the time. Me personally, I've been putting in probably close to 60 hours a week.
Fueled by caffeine, teamwork, and pure cowboy spirit, every detail counts, And every bit of orange shows just how much heart goes into America's greatest homecoming celebration. So whether you're here to cheer, snap photos, or just soak up the school spirit, one thing's for sure. All Night Pomp proves the brightest orange burns all night long. Kendall May Stark, The Poke Report.
Thanks for that, Kendall. So much goes on into the all-night pumping.
Absolutely. Now, the college football season is in the back half of the year, so let's go to our Big 12 analyst, Connor Fuchsa, to break down what's been going on in the Big 12.
Welcome into the Big 12 Roundup. I'm Connor Fuchsa, here to tell you everything you need to know about Big 12 football. Now, this past weekend was a really good slate of college football for the Big 12. I mean, there were 6 games in action. There was 2 blowouts between Cincinnati and Oklahoma State and UCF and West Virginia. But outside of that, there was 4 amazing games that took place this past weekend. All one-score games. I mean, you had the Holy War coming down to the wire. You have the Blue Bonnet rivalry between TCU and Baylor, or as ESPN wanted to call it, the Revivalry. You can take your choice of which rivalry name you like better, but nonetheless, a great one-score game. Arizona-Houston, and a field storming in Tempe, Arizona, from the Arizona State Sun Devils win over Texas Tech. Now, we'll go through all these games. We're going to start off with the Holy War. That, to me, is the biggest game of the weekend. I mean, the fans in BYU in Provo were amazing, and they really helped propel this BYU Cougars team to the win. Now, the storyline of this game is that if you looked at the box score, most of the numbers point in favor of Utah. I mean, they had more total yards. They were better on third downs. They really did a great job offensively. But the problem was they had 2 turnovers. BYU had 0. And on top of that, Utah 3 separate times got into BYU territory and turned the ball over on downs. 2 of those times were in the red zone. So just not being able to finish drives is really what bit the Utes in the butt, and BYU was able to win this game. I mean, a great game from Bear Bachmeyer and LJ Martin. Feels like that's what I'm saying every single week on this show. They're both doing great things with their legs. LJ Martin, 122 yards rushing. Bear Bachmeyer, 166 yards passing, 64 yards rushing, and 2 total touchdowns. Both those guys and the defense for the Cougars has really been carrying them. Over for Utah, I mean, again, you just couldn't get things done. The numbers look great. Dampier had a good game. 244 passing, 64 rushing, 2 touchdowns, had that 1 interception. But, I mean, Daniel Bray, 10 carries, 121 yards, 1 touchdown. Ryan Davis, 7 catches, 66 yards, and touchdown. The offense did great. The stats look great, but they couldn't finish off the drives. They couldn't get points on the board when they needed to. And BYU comes out of this one with the win. Now, BYU has moved up to number 11 in the AP poll after this win. They are now the highest in the Big 12 after the next team we're going to talk about, Texas Tech, who lost against Arizona State. Now, Texas Tech was without their starting quarterback, Baron Morton, out with injury. But Will Hammond, we've seen in that game against Utah a couple weeks ago that he has the ability to step up and be a starting quarterback in the Big 12. Honestly, in the transfer portal era, maybe we'll see that next year. But for this game, he had to step in for the injured Morton. He had a good game. I mean, 214 total yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. But the star power of Arizona State was too much. Arizona State felt what Tech felt this week. Last week, they didn't have their star quarterback in Sam Leavitt, and they lost. But this week, they got Leavitt back. And when you've got Leavitt on the field, when you've got Jordan Tyson catching the ball, when you got Raleek Brown in the backfield, it's all going to be too much. It's too much star power. And they were able to take down Texas Tech at home and storm the field in Tempe, Arizona. A big comeback win that Arizona State needed after losing to Utah last week bad without Leavitt. Now, moving over to the last 2 games I want to talk about. I mean, quickly, I just want to mention Houston. I mean, they beat Arizona. Houston's quietly been a really, really good team in the Big 12 this year. They are now 6-1. Their only loss is to Texas Tech, who a lot of people consider the best team in the Big 12. And now they're bowl eligible for the first time since 2022, and they're off to their best start in a season since 2021. So great start out for the Cougars, for Houston. The last game I got to talk about, the Lone Star State shootout. Again, the rivalry, the Blue Bonnet battle, whatever you want to call it. A star-studded battle. That's what I'm going to say. Because it's Sawyer Robertson and Josh Cameron and Bryson Washington versus Josh Hoover, Eric McAllister Jr. A lot of star power in this game. And surprisingly, probably to most, TCU's offense won this one. TCU's offense was able to outscore Baylor's offense and win the game, 42-36. And a lot of that was off of some uncharacteristically errors from Sawyer Robertson. 3 interceptions in this game, the most he's had in a game this season. He hasn't been a quarterback that... He has definitely had some turnover problems this season, but 3 interceptions in a game is unexcusable. Yes, he still threw for 318 yards and 2 touchdowns, but he got outbattled by Josh Hoover, who threw for 231 and 2 touchdowns, but didn't turn the ball over. So I think the big storyline for this game for Baylor is they know their defense isn't going to be able to hold teams under, maybe even 30 points in a lot of games. And so they need the offense to not make mistakes, not put that defense in worse positions. That's what Baylor did this week. They put their defense in some bad positions, and TCU took advantage and has claimed the rightful throne to the rivalry over Baylor and claiming DFW because they've already defeated SMU earlier in the season as well. But yeah, that is all for this week's Big 12 Roundup. A great week of college football in the Big 12. If I'm going to show a fan that doesn't watch Big 12 football, I'm showing them this week's slate. Those 4 really good one-score games. And heck, even the Oklahoma State game, yeah, they got blown out, but I want fans to see the banana conga line and the shirtless fans. So overall, a really fun weekend in the Big 12, but that's all for the Big 12 Roundup.
Thanks for that, Connor. With all the upsets in the Big 12 last week, it's good to see where everything lies. Now, when we return, one Cowboy basketball player made a big impact at Auburn.
And a new family dynamic in women's basketball. Stay with us after the break.
I want to show you something. This is the money we could save by switching from fresh packed California crushed tomatoes to concentrated tomato paste.
I want to show you something, too. I got a new door. Go take a look at it.
Nobody uses better ingredients than Little Caesars, like fresh-packed California crushed tomatoes. Pick up a large, deep dish for just $8.
Pizza. Introducing Lincoln Black Label at Diffie Ford Lincoln. Designed to impress those with impeccable taste, Lincoln Black Label features a collection of interior themes and a host of exclusive membership privileges, inspired by attention to detail and a love of automobiles. With Lincoln Black Label, you'll enjoy an extended premium maintenance plan that covers wear items or even remote vehicle delivery. Lincoln Black Label isn't about luxury ownership, it's about membership. Lincoln Black Label, exclusively at Diffie.
Welcome back into the Poke Report. Thanks for sticking with us.
Now, as basketball season is gearing up for their time to shine, they're wasting no time getting into tip-top shape. Our very own Carson Skidmore gives us the rundown on the Cowboys' preseason win against Auburn and their matchup that's soon to come.
What a nice win in the preseason for Oklahoma State.
The Oklahoma State men's basketball team upset Auburn last week at the Ballin and Boutwell Invitational Exhibition, winning it in overtime 97-95. 3 Cowboys had over 20 points, with Anthony Roy and Isaiah Coleman leading the scoring with 28. Lefteris Manzukis nailed a jumper with 6 seconds remaining to give the Pokes a 43-42 lead heading into halftime. In the second half, the Cowboys went on an 8-0 run to take a 58-50 lead. Auburn went on to tie the game with 28 seconds left to send it into overtime. Jalen Curry scored a layup to win the game for the Cowboys. Auburn pressed down the court but failed a game-tying jumper to give the Cowboys the victory.
Auburn made it to the Final Four last year in the NCAA March Madness tournament, but lost a lot of players in the offseason. The Cowboys' next game is an exhibition against SMU on Saturday. Head coach Steve Lutz and some other players talked with the media on Monday.
I thought it was for an exhibition game, that's probably as intense and as good an exhibition game as I've been a part of in a long, long time. It's exactly what we wanted. It's exactly what we needed. So it was fantastic. As quick as people are to praise us for beating Auburn, if SMU were to beat the heck of us, they'd be wanting to fire me again. Instead of nuts for Lutz, it would be whatever. Get rid of Lutz. You know what I mean? Like, I get it.
The Cowboys previously beat the Mustangs 85-83 last March to advance to the NIT quarterfinal.
The guys that it was their first game, it was a great experience. It is always something big. If you play in a different league, it's always something really different. I didn't know, of course, from the practices, I knew what to expect more or less, but it's always different practice from a game. So yeah, I was a little bit surprised from the physicality when I got inside, but it was great for me to have the experience before the official games, to have the feeling of what's coming.
The Cowboys return only 3 players from last season. Coach Lutz, now in his second year, used the offseason to rebuild the recruiting. For the Poke Report, I'm Carson Skidmore.
Thanks for that, Carson. Now, Zach, it'll be interesting to see how the season lines up for the Cowboys.
Absolutely, Peyton. And one Cowboy is already taking center spotlight, just one scrimmage in. Our very own Jaden has the story.
With basketball season coming up right around the corner, the Oklahoma State Cowboys tipped off their year with an exhibition matchup against the Auburn Tigers. The Cowboys ended up winning in a nail-biter in overtime, 97-95. This game also marked the debut of one of their many anticipated new players, Anthony Roy. All eyes were on number 9, who is a 6'5" guard from Oakland, California. Roy transferred to Oklahoma State after an impressive college season last year at Green Bay. Roy didn't disappoint in his Cowboy debut, showing off the smooth shooting stroke that made him one of the nation's most prolific scorers last season at Green Bay. Roy led all of NCAA Division I with 25.7 points per game and averaged more than 4 made threes per contest, before an ankle injury that sidelined him in December.
Yeah, Anthony can put the ball in the basket. When he keeps the game really simple and takes what the defense gives him, he's as gifted a scorer as I've been around. But sometimes when guys are that gifted offensively, they think that they are Superman and they can kind of take on the world. And I just try to keep him grounded and all of them grounded in saying, hey, anytime you draw 2 defenders, the ball needs to move out of your hands. I don't want to really see step back threes at 25 feet with 2 defenders hanging on you. Pass the ball to your teammate. We have other good players on this team as well. Yeah. But no, I like him. He's a good player, and I expect him to have a good year.
Before transferring from Green Bay, he was already familiar with the state of Oklahoma, where he was voted first-team NAIA All-American and Sooner Athletic Conference Player of the Year, after leading Langston University to the best season in program history, with a 35-2 record and a national runner-up finish.
Yeah, we still in the group chat. We talk every day.
What about coaches?
Coaches, yeah, my coach is up the road. I just seen him last week. Coach Wright just came to practice last week, I think. I keep in contact with everybody from that program.
Did you learn something about yourself being in that spot on that team that got that close to a championship?
Yeah, you go from a D1 to NAIA. That's a big ball drop. And a lot of people didn't think I would recover after that. So I feel like every day I just had a chip on my shoulder to just prove myself and just make it out.
After missing much of last season with an ankle injury, Anthony Roy's return to the court marks a fresh start, not just for him, but for the Cowboy team looking to make a noise in the Big 12 this year.
My family has just always been so supportive of me, and I knew that just basketball was just like would have saved me. This basketball has really saved my life. So there's been times I wanted to quit, and I just told myself I couldn't. I pray every day, and I just feel like everything I've been through is just starting to pay off.
How has it saved your life?
I don't know what I'd be doing if I wouldn't play basketball. I've been through a lot of challenging things in life. I just feel like this basketball has really saved my life. When people say, I don't know where I'd be or I'd be dead in jail, I could really say that. So it's just a blessing to be here.
With Anthony Roy in America's brightest orange jersey, Cowboy fans have plenty to look forward to this season in Gallagher-Iba Arena. For the Poke Report, I'm Jaden Rinkenberger.
Thanks for that, Jaden. It's always good to see some fresh faces, bring some energy and success for a team that's hungry to win.
That's right, Zach. And while the Cowboys are building chemistry on the court, cowgirl basketball is all about family right now, off of the court. Our very own Connor Fuchsa tells us why that family relationship off the court is making their team that much better.
Every player and coach in the nation would tell you that their locker room feels like a family. For Oklahoma State, that is actually the case, as the Cowgirls roster has 2 sets of sisters, with head coach J.C. Hoyt coaching alongside assistant coach Taryn Hoyt, as well as guards Staley Hurd and Tyler Hurd getting to share the court together.
It's been amazing. It's been, I guess, we've been together for 5 years already, with her being in different roles, but she's always been along my side throughout the whole time.
Not only does JC get to work alongside her sister Taryn, but also her husband Daniel Heflin, who less than a year ago together they welcomed in their first child Harlow into the world.
I have a new daughter that I get to, have around and bring up in such an amazing community and environment, and working alongside my husband, my sister. I'm living my dream.
JC's family focus, specifically her sisterly bond with Taryn, has set an example for the Hurd sisters to follow behind this year.
Honestly, before my sister even got here, I saw that within Coach JC and her sister. They're close, and, the way they pour into us is how they act towards each other, and so they live that out.
Next Tuesday, the Hurd sisters will share the court for the first time in their college careers as teammates here in Gallagher-Iba Arena against Oklahoma Christian. Now, while this will be a monumental moment for the Hurd family, this isn't the first time the Hurd sisters have shared the court together.
We had a lot of good memories, but my favorite one was probably just my senior year. It was my last time getting to play with her in high school and just in that setting. And we won at the last second, and it just was like a whole heartfelt. It was actually awesome.
The theme of sisterhood runs far beyond just these two duos, as the entire team has made sisterhood their goal for the season.
Sisterhood is probably one of our biggest things we talk about all the time. Just being there for each other, always, just having each other's backs, sacrificing ourselves for each other. I feel like that's just what winning teams do. And I feel like the best teams have the best connection and best sisterhood for each other.
This tight-knit group is going to need that strong off-the-court connection to translate to on-the-court, as the Cowgirls have high expectations this season, being ranked preseason number 22. But no matter the ranking or the result, whatever this team does this season, win or loss, it will be together. For the Poke Report, I'm Connor Fuchsa.
Thanks for that, Connor.
It's always good to see a family connection shine both on and off the court.
Now, we have one more break for y'all, but we've got some softball action and my favorite segment, the Pick'ems.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
The Oklahoma State Cowgirls will conclude their fall ball season as they welcome the Garden City Community College from Garden City, Kansas.
Throughout the fall ball season, the Cowgirls have faced a variety of opponents throughout all divisions of college athletics, including Division I teams such as Wichita State and Arkansas, even in-state schools like Seminole State and USAO. Head coach Kenny Gajewski will return 8 position players from the 2025 season, which concluded with a 35-20 overall record and an exit in the NCAA regional round, making it the first time since 2018 the Cowgirls have missed the College World Series. Oklahoma State softball welcomes 3 newcomers via the transfer portal, including Indiana transfer Melina Wilkinson, Virginia Tech transfer Jaden Jones, and Long Beach State transfer Lena Perez. The transfer portal acquisitions and also highly touted recruiting class is not the only thing that's new, at least on the field. Cowgirl Stadium will debut a brand new LED video board that will hold the crown as the largest screen in college softball, thanks to Dactytronics. The video board stands 28 feet high and 40 feet wide. The new video display only adds to the already high level of excitement for the 2026 campaign of OSU softball.
For the Poke Report, I'm Trevor Heath.
Thanks for that, Trevor. Now, it wouldn't be the Poke Report without the Pick'em segment.
It's time to bounce back. I got to bounce back. It was a rough week for me last week. You killed it. I got to make up some ground, so let's get right into it. First,
did you say I killed it?
Okay. First, let's get into it. I'm gonna bounce back here. First, we got Ole Miss versus Oklahoma. Peyton, what do you got?
After seeing John Mateer the past couple weeks after his surgery, I got Ole Miss. The Rebels riding on this one by a lot.
Yeah, obviously Rebels lost last week to Georgia, but they still showed a lot of good signs. And like you said, John Mateer just doesn't have it right now. Next up, Mizzou taking on Vanderbilt, another SEC matchup. I'll go first for this one. Listen, Vandy riding a high. It's crazy to say. I didn't think Vanderbilt would be part of this many pick'ems, but after you beat LSU, they'll take care of Mizzou.
I hate to second your pick, and this is why I like to go first. So I'm original with my picks, but I'm also taking Vandy. I love their team. I've got a couple friends that play for the team, so I'm always going to have to root for those guys back home.
Okay, now, one we might disagree on, a pretty big one, another SEC matchup, probably the biggest one of the week, LSU versus A&M. What do you have for this one?
I don't know.
Ooh.
I almost want to pick LSU just for the fun of it, but A&M has been riding it high as well, and I've got the Aggies going all the way with this one too.
Listen, I talked some Mets against A&M when we were in Arizona. They proved me wrong, and I know LSU's going to come out with a vengeance, but you lose to Ole Miss, you lose to Vanderbilt. Yeah, I'll go gig them for this week as well.
Okay.
Now, let's kind of go to some Big 12 action. Kansas, K-State, battle of the Kansas schools. What do you got for this one?
We travel up to Lawrence for next week's episode, so stay tuned for that. I got the Jayhawks on this one. I I don't know, Avery Anderson and the K-State Wildcats right now, they're hit or miss.
I do love the basketball player Avery Anderson. Avery Johnson, though, is that right? Listen. What? No, that was funny.
No, that's like way too big of a mess to do that. I'm so sorry, guys. That's funny. So what I meant to say was Avery Johnson, and I was just thinking that cowboy mindset because Avery Anderson played basketball here. Yes. Got tripped up because you know all about that cowboy mindset. Avery Johnson, not Avery Anderson.
Okay, well, I will agree with you. I'll go raw chalk for this week. Avery Johnson, a little too inconsistent for me right now. But keeping it in the Big 12, we have Baylor taking on Cincinnati. Cincy's hot, coming off a win against us. Baylor's had some high highs and some low lows. I think Cincinnati rides the wave. They keep going up. I'm going to go 6.
So you aggravate me. I was going to go Cincy, but because you are, I'm going to go Baylor for some variety since I have some wiggle room. I've got a few games up on you.
I was going to go great minds think alike, but that'll work. Nope. So finally, OSU, Texas Tech. What do you got, Peyton?
I got Tech on this one. They're just red hot. They lost last weekend, but they did have their backup quarterback in Will Hammond, true freshman. I don't know. I still like the Red Raiders right now.
Yeah, the no tortillas maybe slowed them down a little bit, the tradition, but nothing's really going to slow them down against a struggling OSU team. So I'll agree with you there. Texas Tech all day. But that's all we got for this week's episode.
And stay tuned for next week because we will be on site in Lawrence, Kansas.
For the Pope Report, I'm Zach Berger.
And I'm Peyton Schmidt. Go Pokes.